Today we're going to use our iron-on craft shapes to do a simple holiday table runner. Let me show you how to do it. A few weeks back, I shared with you guys this dining tabletop set that teaches you how to make a runner, placemats, napkins in all different sizes, as well as this mitered style and a simple turn and flip style. So with that in mind, pick up the tabletop set pattern because it's going to give you all kinds of great projects to get your table holiday ready. But I took this simple turn and flip method of the runner, and then I just used these great craft iron-on appliques that we carry here at Missouri Star. So we're just going to use these fun craft fabric shapes. We've got trees, snowflakes, stars, and even these little gnomes and gifts. And so you can see I used this set on this runner here, but for the one I'm going to make today, I want it for a little bit smaller table. This is matching the size that's in the pattern, but I just got a yard of this cute red dot. Let's move this out of the way. And then I cut two rectangles that are 16 inches wide by the width of fabric. And so I have these ready to go. And we're just going to use this cute red dot as our background. And let's choose one of these to do our applique. I think I'm just going to do the trees on this one. I think they're super cute. So let's go ahead and open this up. And so in the package, these are all pre-cut and pre-fused. And it also includes this pressing sheet that will help protect your iron from any glue transferring, which is really nice to have. So hold on to that. And we can just take our little shapes and kind of see what we've got here. We've got a bunch of different styles. So I like to just lay them out and see the variety. And then let's pick a few to place on the edge of our runner. So I've got this one here. And this one, we're just going to add a few little trees. You mix this guy in here. And you want to make sure that you're not getting too close to the edge because we are going to turn this. And maybe this guy. I think that looks pretty good. So if you want to bring the ironing board over or take this to your ironing board, whichever is easier for you. I probably should have done this first. So we'll set this down. And then I'm going to lay the edge of my runner here on my ironing mat. And then I want to just get my ruler to make sure these are all straight along this bottom edge. So I'm probably going to measure up about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And then I'll put my little trees right along that line so that they're all in a neat row. There we go. I'm happy with that. And now I can move my ruler away and I can just, oh, almost forgot, pressing cloth. We'll put this under here and then we can press straight down. And we don't have to worry about any damage to our iron. These shapes are polyester, so keep that in mind, but they're so cute and make for a really fun project or gift idea. I just want to make sure they've all adhered. That feels really good. All right, so now let's flip this around and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to set my iron out of the way. We will measure up 1.5 inches and we'll lay out some of the rest of these trees. Let's see here. Make sure we get some variety. I just think this is such a quick and easy project and great for a gift. Make sure we can fit them all. And then this little guy. That looks pretty cute. Doesn't take long at all, and a little forest appears. All right, so we'll press these in place. go. Just like that. Now, I didn't do this on the other one, but I think it would be really fun to do some snowflakes in the middle. So there's also a snowflake pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up. I love that these are all made to kind of coordinate with each other. So you can mix and match some of these different iron-on kits and use them however you see fit. So these, let's just put the center here. I'll move my ruler out of the way. Let's just decide where we want these. I like these little green ones and teal. So fun. And I like that you can kind of test this out and figure out which colors you like where. There we go. I think I'll just do those few like that. That looks pretty good. Just to add some snow to the middle. And then again, use that pressing sheet or a scrap piece of fabric if you have it. And a nice hot iron to make sure that that adheres on there. And we'll just move from shape to shape to make sure that they fuse in place. All right. Okay, I think these are all fused down, so let me clean this up a little bit and we'll start working on the applique. All right, so now we are ready to start our applique, and so I have switched out the thread on my machine and my bobbin to some green polyester just so it has a little bit of shine. I also went ahead and grabbed some of the other colors that would match this project so that I can switch it out as needed. I'm just gonna start by doing some of the applique on the trees so I can show you guys how I finish this off. I probably will not finish the whole thing. I can bounce over and show it to you on this project, but I wanted to show you just a little bit. We're gonna do just a basic blanket stitch. And so let's go ahead and get this started. I am sewing on the Baby Lock Jubilant, and so I am on stitch 24, which is a basic blanket stitch. The length is 2.5 and the width is 2.0. So hopefully that is helpful to you. And I am going to line up my needle so that it is just right on the edge of my applique shape. And I don't like to start right on a point. I'm going to start just a little ways down on this tree. And so let's go ahead and get started. So it's going to take a stitch and a little bite in and a stitch. And so you might want to test this out before you start sewing and make sure you're happy with the size that I chose. I like it to be really small. So that's what I'm going with. So we're just going to continue all the way around our shape. As we get right to that bottom corner, I'm going to leave my needle down and we can pivot, and hopefully you can see how nice these first few stitches are looking. Once we get this all done, I'll bring it out for you to see. All right, just pivoting at each corner. Okay. So we are almost done. We're just going to finish this last little straight edge here. All right, back stitch just a little bit to lock that in. And now we are all done with our first applique tree. Okay, let me grab some scissors and trim these threads and show you how that turned out. All right, so we can trim this up. Make sure we don't have any stray threads here. I've got one little one that's wanting to stick out. Get rid of that. There we go. Hopefully you can get in here really nice and see how great that looks with that little blanket stitch. It just finishes off that edge beautifully, which I think is so great. And so I'll just continue doing that around any of these kind of darker green trees. Switch out to the lighter green when I do the light green trees and these snowflakes, and just continue that all the way through. So then now to finish off this runner, we are just going to take our applique rectangle and we're going to match that up with our other rectangle that we cut, and we're going to put those right sides together. We're going to sew all the way around, leaving about an 8-inch opening so that we can turn it. And so let's go ahead and do that. Let's make sure this is all lined up, corner to corner. And if it's helpful to you, we can put a pin at our start and stop points, just so we remember and give ourselves plenty of room to turn this. So I'll just leave an opening about like that, and we're going to sew all the way around. Oop, I almost forgot. We do want to switch out our thread. This green thread would show through, so I'm going to take a minute and swap this out back to white. All right, so we've swapped out our thread back to white in both the top spool and the bobbin, and so now we're ready to sew all the way around that runner, leaving our opening. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just sewing a 1/4-inch seam. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning by this opening, and then we're going to continue all the way around. Just make sure my corner is lined up as I'm approaching it. I like to just sew off and pivot on that corner. Again, just making sure everything stays lined up. All right, we are coming down this final side here. So I'm just going to make sure I stop at this last pin. Stitch again, and we are good to go. All right, let's go ahead and pull these pins out where I left my opening, and I like to go ahead and clip the corners on projects like this just to get rid of some of the bulk. So I'm just going to clip across and then down a little bit just to get rid of some of this. I'll do that on all 4 corners. So straight across, and then kind of skinny up that side just a little bit. You don't want to get too close to your seams, but just to get rid of some of that bulk. It'll help give you a nice clean corner, which is what we want. All right. There we go. We are good to go. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring my pressing mat back over here. for you guys. And we are going to turn this right sides out. Let me find my opening again. Now that I took those pins off, it's harder to see. And we are just going to pull this through. Just like so. And so to begin with, I'm just going to use my nails. If you need like a chopstick or a pin or a purple thing to just really get those corners really sharp, just take your time, work them out there. We'll do all 4 corners. Go. One more. Okay. All right, so then once we have that, let's go ahead and give this a good press. And so I like to roll my seams just to make sure that they're not tucking under. And I kind of give them a little finger press first, and then we'll hit this with the iron. And we will press all the way around. So I'm just going to keep doing that, rolling these seams just like so, pressing. And then when I get over here to this opening, it's going to want to kind of naturally roll under that 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it do that. So I'm going to roll this bottom about 1/4 of an inch until it meets up with this side. And then I'll roll the top piece to match that, because we're going to catch all of this when we do the top stitching in just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to keep making my way all the way around, and I'll meet you back here when it's done. All right, so we have turned this, it's all pressed and ready to go. So now I'm just going to do a line of top stitching all the way around this to seal up that open edge and to just give it a nice finished look. So I'm actually going to start by securing this open section. So I'm just going to make sure I'm at this end. And I like to do a little bit narrower than 1/4 inch for my top stitch. And then I'm going to lengthen my stitch length just a bit. And we are going to sew all the way around. All right, we are getting close to being back to where we started. Just finish this up. Make sure we meet up with that first line of stitching. And then back stitch again to secure that. And we are all done. Okay, let me just trim my threads really quick. Perfect. All right. So there you go. That could be it. You could just stop right there and call your runner done. It turned out really fun and it's so quick and easy. But we have these great little green pom-poms here at Missouri Star. I actually think you can get them in red as well. And so I thought it would be really fun to add as a detail to the end. So that's what I did here on this larger runner. You can see we just laid those pom-poms along the edge of the 2 short ends, and just using the green thread we top stitched all along there. And then I even went in and glued a couple on these little gnome hats just to add some fun details. So don't be afraid to play with your different embellishments, and I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit more about these great craft shapes that we have available for you to decorate for the holidays. So I will see you next time on At Home. Hey everyone, it's Misty. Thanks for watching at home. If you aren't already a part of our Missouri Star family, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want a notification every time we release a new video. I'll see you next Monday on the newest episode of At Home.